Hi there, it's David John, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to talk a little bit about today is your putting, and we're going to talk about data. And we're going to look at the old data that we used to have and the new data I want you to use so you understand how well you're actually putting. So let's look at the difference in the two. So old data, very much, it's just about how many putts you take. You finish a round, you add up all your putts. You two-putt the first, two-putt the second, one putt on the third, and so on and so on. And at the end of the round, you've got a number. Now, that's absolutely fine. And the number we tend to look at is 36. As long as we've had better than 36 putts, we think we've had a good day on the greens. And what's important to understand is we don't want to go out and three putt. But what we're going to show you with the data is it's relative to where you're putting from. Now, there's a great book out there called Every Shot Counts by a guy called Mark Brody. And within that book, there's an interview with Tiger Woods. And Tiger had gone out and he'd shot something like a 65 in that round. And the interviewer said, you had a great day, you seemed to putt brilliantly. And Tiger went, no, I had a terrible day on the greens. And the commentator or the interviewer was like, wow, what do you mean I had a terrible day on the greens? He said, well, I hit a lot of shots close and I didn't hole all the putts. So the new data, how it works, is not the number of putts you have, it's more about where you're putting from. And that's what I want you to understand. So you get your level of expectation in line. Now, if you haven't watched it, I've got a video out there called 12 Shots of Golf Putting, and it talks about two particular putts. It talks about your 50% putt and your average two putt. And what we mean by those two numbers is the average two putt hopefully explains itself. It's a distance for your level. All of my 12 Shots of Golf videos talk about scratch golfer, a player shooting 80, a player shooting 90. On average, from that distance, you would two putt from. So you take somebody like an 18 handicap golfer, it's probably somewhere between 15 and 20 feet. 20 feet for the single figure golfer, the guy shooting 80, and it's closer to 25 feet for the scratch golfer. And then we talk about a 50-50 putt. A putt that half the time you're going to hole, half the time you're going to miss, and it will show you the distances from there. And that's quite important. So that ranges, again, from about 4 feet to 6 feet, depending on your level. And I think what's important to understand, if we look at the 50-50 putt for the average tour player, it's about 8 feet. He's going to hole half, he's going to miss half. And he generally two putts from about 30 to 35 feet. In that area, he will two putt. So that gives you an understanding of where they are and where you are. And I think that's really important, to get your level of expectation in the right place. So the amount of putts you have isn't really that important. It's where you're putting from. If we happen to look at two golfers, let's say we had a golfer who ended up on average hitting his shots into the green, and he was here about 10 feet away from the hole. And from here, he takes 36 putts. He two putts them all. Old data says he's had a decent day. He's done what he should do. But let's say he's an average golfer. What should he be doing from there? It's about a 1.8 putt, which basically means he should be holing 1 in 5. 80% of the time he's going to two putt it, 20% of the time he's going to one putt it. So if through the round, if he ended up there every time, he should be closer to 33 putts, because he should hole 3, maybe 4 of that length of putt in the round because of his level. So it's understanding where you're putting from. Now, if the same golfer, let's put him here, this is his average distance, 20 feet, and he two putts, he's done what he should have done. As soon as he gets further away, and we're now starting to look at a 30, 35 foot putt, if he was putting from there on average every time, it's going to be the reverse of that. Where he should have holed on average 20%, he's now going to three putt on average 20%. So you can see, if he does that through the round and he two putts from that position every time, on average he should have had 39 putts. He's now had 36. He's better than average. So the new data that's out there, and if you've got some of these apps, it will automatically do that, and you can maybe put in your distances, how far you are from the hole, and it will give you some form of this shots gained. And it's really clever because it gets you to understand. I remember going out with a guy and he three putted from about 60 feet, and I thought he was going to walk off the golf course. And I said, but you're going to do that. I'd three putt that probably 30, 40% of the time. You're going to three putt it probably 50, 60% of the time. So it's all relative to where you're going and where you're playing from. Now, if you have got any of these systems that do it for you, brilliant. If you haven't, what you can do, okay, go to my 12 shots of golf, look at the 50-50 putt and the 2 putt. And then what we're going to give you now is some information if it was a bit further away. But what you're going to do when you finish a round of golf or finish a hole is write down how far you were away with your first putt. That's all that matters. So if you were 10 feet away, write down 10 feet, and then the second number is how many putts did I take? Okay, if you one putted it from there, and let's say it was a 1.8 putt, you've just gained 0.8 of a shot. That's a massive gain. Because remember, you're only going to hole that 1 in 5 times as an average golfer. Okay, if you get to the next hole and you're 30 feet away and you 2 putt it, you write that down. So it's all relative to how far you are away from the hole. If you have a day where you're nowhere near the hole getting onto the green and you're 2 putting pretty much all those greens, you've had a great day. If you've missed the greens and chipped them up to here and you're 2 putting from there every time, then you've not had a great day on the greens. So I hope that sort of makes sense. Let's just give you some numbers if we get outside 20 feet. So if we're starting to look 30 feet away from the hole, we're way back here. I'm not going to walk too far because of the microphone, but 30 feet. Let's take an 18 handicap golfer. As we said, you're now going to probably 20% of the time, you are going to 3-putt that. Go to 40 feet, you're now double that. You're now going to be 40% of the time, you're probably going to 3-putt it. And if you get to that 50 feet, it's a 50-50 chance that you're going to 2-putt it or 3-putt it. If you're a little bit lower handicap, you're probably about 10% better off. So if you're getting towards that 80 and you're at 30 feet, you're probably, as we said, 20% of the time they're going to 3-putt it. You're going to 3-putt it 10% of the time. By the time you get out to 50 feet, you're going to 3-putt it about a quarter of the time. So it's an area that you can save a lot of shots, because have a look at where you're ending up relative to the hole, but then work out, yeah, how am I doing? And if you hole a putt from way back there, you've gained a lot. You've gained a shot. Even a tour player is gaining well over a shot from 40 feet. And remember, when you see that happen on the TV, you go, wow, what a great putt. So it's so important to realize, yeah, how well you're putting. I would encourage you, go and buy the Every Shot Counts book, because it's a great book and it explains how the new data is working. And you can get some better data there to help you to understand your putting. But start to think of it in a different way. If you do, you'll bring down that pressure. You're going to have a lot more success on the greens. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, I've got 4 or 5 putting videos out there showing you how to read greens, some of this data that we've just talked about today. If you did enjoy it, please go and watch those videos as well. And I look forward to seeing you soon.